Okay, so what are we doing? We are attempting to make a tutorial of the speed run for Shining Force NE%. This is the Legend of Great Intention, the Sega Genesis version of Shining Force. There's been videos that have come out, there's written guides, there are plenty of resources which I will link in the video, but some of the strats have changed over time, and there's a new world record as of actually I don't know why it says unknown world record there, but there's a new world record as of the last week, and today is 7/28/2023. So I want to talk about some of the new strats. I want to walk through a tutorial. I want to make recommendations for if you're in a race, what you could do for safety strats. I want to try to explain some of the nuances of the game, like turn order and the AI and stat growth, and just a whole bunch of things about the game. And we'll probably cover a lot of that stuff as we get to it. I'm going to be running a timer, but I'll likely be pausing the timer here and there when I want to go into an explanation of things. I will also, something like when I'm trying to explain turn orders, I may explain it in 1.3, I may explain it in 1.1, and then in 1.3, and then in 2.1, and in 2.2. So there may be multiple times that I'll try to explain how turn orders work. Yeah, I think that's as good of a place to start as any. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play and I'm gonna walk through things, and if you want to play along, I mean, feel free. I'll most likely cut this up into several different videos, one video for each chapter, perhaps an overview video of tips and tricks, and if I can get to that point of being an editor, and yeah, if I have enough time to do that, I will, just to be helpful. And then just before I get started, I guess huge shout outs to a lot of the strats that I'm going to show you have been worked on by CloudCarry, the world record holder at this time, Draciel, and myself. So having that group of people working on some strats, and of course most of this run has been the route was, the foundation of the route was from Ty 2358. I hope I got your numbers right, man. Yep. Ty 2358 and NoWorries, who have gone before us. So, also, there's a ton of people who are a lot smarter than me who have dug into the code to help determine things like AI, target prioritization, turn order, agility. Just so many smart people have looked at this game. So grateful for CirrusAF, grateful for Degree, grateful for Said Paul. Yeah, just smarter people able to look at the code and give us some insight into what is actually going on. And then of course there are many runners that have come before, that are a part of the community that have welcomed me in, and I'm incredibly grateful for all of them. So yeah, this video is for the Shining Force community. If you're interested in learning how to speedrun this game, hopefully this will be a nice place to start. I imagine it'll get pretty long. Here's a little plug. We do try to do monthly races as a community, where we race Balbazak %, which is the first 4 chapters of the game. So if you want to start, that's a great place to start, is just learn the first 4 chapters, and then you can tack on and start doing more and more as time permits. Okay, that's enough talk. that's a long intro. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, timer begins as soon as you press end on the name selection. Shining Force has these chapter breakups, so most of my times I have sub-split into chapters, and I end time as soon as the chapter end screen has showed up. For this beginning section, you just got to get through the story points in order to trigger the ability to leave the town. So you talk to Various, talk to Low, talk to Various, talk to Low. And your first line of duty is just go straight to the castle. Shining Force has a weird little quirk. We call it, I think it would just be input delay. Sometimes it feels like the game does not pick up your inputs. Talk to the king. When you're going through, you just kind of get used to the input lag, and yeah, you just got to play it. When you are going through dialogue, in order to make the dialogue scroll the fastest, you need to hold the B button, or hold C or A and a direction. So you're best off just holding the B button. You also want to know the dialogue prompts when you have to say yes or no. In that first dialogue, you want to say yes to the king. Come down, get your force, get low, go back up and talk to the king, and he'll give you 100 coins, and then you could leave the town. So this whole time I'm holding the B button. I also, just as habit, I hold the direction that I'm going to be going while the dialogue is scrolling. Talk to the king. Holding the B button. Holding the B. I'm using a controller by 8BitDo. It's the SM30 Pro. This is my favorite controller right now. That man will block you sometimes. And that guy will block you sometimes. So we're leaving town at like 2:25 there. That's pretty late. Normally you can leave town by 2:22. You go into the first battle. Keep holding the B button. As soon as it becomes your turn, you want to hit the B button to open up the cursor. Move to an empty space and turn off the messages. And then you can hit B to go back. All right, at this point, I'm gonna pause. Pause. We'll talk about 1-1 strats, but first I wanna talk about agility and turn orders. So if we look at all the stats of a character, so here we're looking at Max. He has 14 attack, 4 defense, 6 move, 4 agility. The stats for Max's attack and defense will be important later. Most of the characters are pretty static, with minor differences. Like you'll see Hans with either 12 HP or 13 HP. Max can have like 12 to 14. Hi, Irene. Luke can, I believe, have 8 or 9. But his attack is actually what's interesting. Sometimes you can get him with 1 extra attack than normal. And you'll notice this just by him doing more damage to the goblins. 1-1 is a battle that we're in often. So this is a pretty heavy reset battle. It comes, within the first 8 minutes of the game. Yeah, expect to reset a couple times. Unless you're in a race, then you want to play it safe. So going back to race strats, it makes sense before you leave the town to buy a couple medical herbs. Okay, we're going to talk about speed, or agility. In this game, agility determines turn order. Sorta. It does. So if you look, Tau has 6 agility. The Rune Knight has 7 agility. So when we started this battle, the Rune Knight went first and Tau went second. what is actually happening, Hans also has 6 agility. Lo has 5. Ken has 5. Luke has 4. Goblins have 4, 5, okay, and dwarves have 5. So there's a pretty complex equation that goes into what turn or what order the units will go in a given round. So Shining Force combat is broken up into rounds, and basically in one round, every unit on the battlefield will take their turn once and only once. This is different than Shining Force 2, where bosses end up getting double turns. So they can go, but you usually don't see it until, I believe, units are in range. So in Shining Force 1, that doesn't exist. Every unit only goes one time per round. But every round, the turn order is recalculated. And what determines your order in the turn is what we'll call effective agility. So it's not your straight agility stat. In the Japanese version of the game, it just goes off of your straight agility. So Tao the Rune Knight with 7 will go first. Tao and Hans with a speed of agility of 6 will go second and third. Everyone with 5 will go next. So that's all the goblins, all the dark dwarves, Luke and Lo, or not Luke, Ken and Lo. And so what order they go in, I'm not sure how the Japanese version determines that. And then it would be Luke and Max. But that's not how this game works. The US version of the game, they decided to add a random, not multiplier, it's actually just addition. So the formula essentially works out to 80% of your agility stat, plus a random amount of 20% of your agility, plus a random amount of another 20% of your agility, plus 1 or 2 agility. So what that looks like is, basically in your head, your speed can be anywhere from 80 to 120% of your agility, plus 1 or 2. So the math is pretty hard when you get to these lower numbers, right? Because the game doesn't really count in decimals. So what will result is all the units on this field, because their agility is so low and they're so close together, the turn orders every round get recalculated, and anyone could go at any time. Like, you could see Max go first in a round. You could see Max go before a Rune Knight at some point, because maybe the Rune Knight rolled only a really low 80% and Max rolled as high as he could go. So turn orders, especially really early on in the game here, are really hard to keep track of. You can't necessarily predict on it, so a lot of times we're gambling with when we're going to take our turn. And this is just the RNG of the game. The game is very heavily RNG. There's a lot of RNG weight in this game. Okay, so back to the gameplay. Basically, we're moving everyone up. I move them in a very specific order to make sure I never block anyone that I'm trying to get to a specific place. But the hope is that one goblin outturns Ken or Max. In this case, 2 goblins have, and they're both in range. So we're going to try to kill the first goblin on the left. Well, actually, I think I'm going to attack this one with Max. Okay, we killed them. That's another random part of this game, is sometimes you can crit, sometimes you can double attack, sometimes you can miss. And so it's just trying to get rid of, or not get rid of, but you play as consistently as you can. And when it matters, like if you cannot afford to miss a character, you save before you make that attack. And we'll go over in-game saving when we get there. Alright, so Hans can't attack anyone. In the end of this battle, we only want to have Max Ken, and Tao alive. So we're going to try to kill off Hans, Lo, and Luke. There's different ways to do 1-2. Some people like to use Luke, some people like to use Ken. I prefer to use Ken. I think the reason I do prefer to use Ken is because we're going to be using Ken for the rest of the chapter, and I'd rather get him the extra experience. You don't have to do that though. It's really runner's choice. I'm going to be showing Ken strats. Okay, let's talk about trigger points now. All of the AI, not all of them, but yeah, so AI typically has, hi Nakuri, sort of two modes to them, right? They have the battle is started, I need to get to my starting position. And so you'll see enemy units moving to the spot that they're designed to move to. Unless you enter their zone. Some Bowie the hero refers to this as the zone of influence. I often call them trigger points or trigger squares, whatever you want to call them. So the idea behind this is when this battle started, we saw, goblins moving down, goblins moving across, dwarves moving into place, the Rune Knight going up. That's their set AI. They will do that every time. As soon as a character moves to this line here, that will engage the dwarves and the goblins AI to attack. But they will stay here and they will not move until someone moves across this line that everyone's on right now. Once someone moves, their AI is triggered and they will start operating at their by their aggro charts, which we'll talk about. Degree has an awesome video explaining how aggro works in this game. I will do my best to describe it. So we've killed all the goblins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Luke into the trigger zone, or the zone of influence, and that will trigger the goblins and the dwarves to start coming down. There you go. We had some outturns, so I'm definitely going to take advantage of the fact that I could attack with Hans. Now, the Rune Knight's zone is 2 squares below him. So where that goblin is currently, that if any characters cross that line or stay on that line, the Rune Knight's AI will be engaged and it will start attacking. I've gotten so many double attacks. All right, I'll talk about AI since we or the threat meter essentially, because we just witnessed it. The goblin moved past Hans, Ken, and came down here to attack Lo. But who was the goblin actually aggroed to? The goblin was actually aggroed to Max. The way aggro works in this game, and I'll pause it again, is that based on your class, you have basically a threat number. So healers have like 25 threat, mages have 75, hero has 100. So what the calculation for the threat is the class modifier. So 0. I should also say Luke, Ken, and Hans have a 0 modifier. Plus or times their distance, times the percentage of how much health they have left. I think it's those 3 things. So proximity, percentage of health remaining on the character, and their class. So it's entirely possible that I could be at 1 health on the hero, and I'll have Tao sitting right next to the enemy that's in front of him, and that enemy will take its turn, but because Max's health is so low, it'll be like, you know what, I'm going to attack Tao instead, because she's the higher threat right now. All right, so I'm not going to... If I moved here, I would engage the Rune Knight's AI, and the Rune Knight would head down. So what I'm going to do is just attack this goblin, and maybe on the next turn I'll move Luke up to the Rune Knight. So this is great. The people that we want to get hurt are getting hurt. Hans, Luke, and Lo. I should mention the other goal of this fight is that we want Max to be at level 2, Tau to be at level 2, and preferably Tau to have like 10 MP. So we got Max to level 2. I am going to engage the Rune Knight here, but what I'm doing is putting Lo directly in front of him, so the Rune Knight's going to attack Lo and kill him. Now, there's no one on that trigger point anymore, so the Rune Knight's AI is going to say, yep, I'm going to go back up. I'm going to start weakening this dwarf a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and attack from right here. What's fun about this is the enemy units will prioritize their main target, like I had mentioned. But they will usually take a pretty direct path to them. They will first move up or down to try to get on the same horizontal level as the target of their attack. So this dwarf was going to attack Max, but it wants to move up and down first, so it runs into Hans, and it just decides to attack Hans instead. Alright, at this point, it's ya boy Ryudo. At this point, I'm going to move Luke up, and I'm going to attack the Rune Knight. I want to start prepping it. Okay, can't get any more attacks on the Rune Knight. Don't do it, Prox. I'm sorry, Hans must go. So, we've gotten rid of Luke. We're going to come down here. We're going to kill the dwarf here and get Tau up to level 2. And then we're going to kill off Hans and then kill the Rune Knight. So, this battle will never look the same because the turn orders are always so crazy. A lot of the results of this battle come down to just RNG and practice. Like, you need to practice this fight to kind of understand how things are going to flow. All right, so at this point, Max is at 2, Tau is at 2. So we're basically we're where we need to be for this battle. I'm gonna give the kill of the Rune Knight to Max. And I should say, I'm going to make save states throughout this, just in case things get messed up. So, that's Battle 1. Now we'll talk about Battle 2. So Battle 2 is really annoying. That's why I've named it Monotonous Mountains. All the enemies, or all the units have restricted movement on mountainous terrain. So Tau can only move 2 spaces. Max can move 3 spaces. What we're going to do is, because Tau got 10 MP or more, she's at 11, we're going to lead with Tau. With Tau and Ken, I should say. And we're going to let Max trail behind. If Tau only has 9 MP, I will typically lead with Max. I'll show you why. So in this battle, we expect Max to do about 6 damage to every goblin, and Blaze should do 6 or 7 damage. So if you lead with Max, you want Tau to be getting kills, so you prep it with Max, and then kill them with Tau. Our goal is to get Tau to level 3 plus some. Preferably 3 and 30, something like that. The other goal of this fight is to get Max to 3 and 84 or 85. Let's just say 87 7 experience to be safe. We'll go into more details when we get there. Essentially, what we're prepping for is a special agility manipulation in 1-3. So we need Max to get to level 3, and we need him to be 1 attack away from level 4. Also, guys, if you ever have any questions, feel free to post them. If you have any suggestions about something that I need to explain, please chime in. Okay, so we finally have reached the goblins. We're going to attack with Ken. We're going to, since Tao has 10 MP, we're going to blaze this one, prep it, and then blaze it again to kill it. But we're going to save all of that for Tao. That right goblin is Tao's. So Ken and Max are going to tag team this left one, this left goblin. Alright, so we're going to finish this off with Tao. Now, what I try to do is save 2 blazes for the dwarf section. But for the most part, it's just pressing forward, trying to inch your way through the mountains. I'm just going to move and stay. All these goblins, their AI says to move up and to the top of this mountain range here. The goblins on the right are like trying to move to the center line, and the goblins on the left are trying to move also to that center line. Often this results in them kind of doing a crisscross, and in a lot of the ones from the left prioritize getting to the top right position. So we're going to send Ken to be the bottom left attacker. Max is going to move, we're going to move him up to attack the top goblin. And then hopefully Tao will finish it. Alright, so Max only did 5 there, which is a potential. He does 5 or 6. Thankfully, Tao can do 6 or 7. In this case, Max did 2 twice. Not a big fan of that. So yeah, we're gonna kill it off with... I prefer her to get more HP kill for her kill, because we're getting to a point where we need a certain amount of HP as well as the kills in order for Tao to level up. I guess I should explain some experience and how that works too. Okay. All of the units have basically a hidden level, and as far as I understand, based on character level and enemy level, you will receive a certain amount of experience per HP removed from the enemy, and then a certain amount of HP for the kill. Hi, Birdman. So, in the case of the goblins, when you are, let's see, when you're level 2, it should be 2 points of experience per hit point, and 24 experience for a kill. So if you were to kill a goblin all by yourself, it should be 48 experience. Once you get to level 3, that goes down to about 1 experience per hit point and 20 experience for the kill. So a goblin kill will get you 32 experience. 34 experience, I actually think. So it's for every 6 HP or so, it's kind of like 1 extra experience point. Nope. 20. it might be 18 experience. The dwarf then becomes your goblin for level 2. So the dwarf experience then becomes at level 3, 2 experience per hit point, 24 experience for the kill. So it would be 48 full experience points if you took out a dwarf by yourself at level 3. And same thing kind of moves on to Rune Knights. Rune Knights are level 4 creatures. I believe bats are also level 4. So the experience just kind of keeps moving down the road like that. So Tao has gotten 48 experience plus a kill plus 2. So she should be around 62, I'm going to guess 72 experience. 76, so pretty close. So killing this goblin should level her up, no problem, to level 3. She didn't gain any MP, which is kind of sad. And I want to save at least one blaze for the dwarf section coming up. Resuming the time. Now we also have to keep in mind that we got to level up Max to level 3 and 85, 87 experience. So at this point, Tao is just going to sit back and not do anything while Max and Ken finish off the rest of the goblins. Thank you for the timer warning. Now the bummer part is every time a goblin hits Max when he's at level 2, the goblin's going to hit for 2 damage. Once he gets level 3, Max's defense will go up, and the goblins will be hitting for 1. Been getting pretty unlucky with the rolls of damage here. Okay, so Max got level 3, and on this level, you can have 3 different attack value level ups. You can get an attack plus 1, an attack plus 2, or an attack plus 3. My favorite is attack plus 2. With attack plus 2, Max will probably do about 8 damage to a goblin, and Ken does 4 damage. So they are like perfectly balanced to take out a goblin with 2 hits. And as you can probably tell by the nature of the game itself, like every time you attack or get attacked, it costs time. About 6 to 7 seconds per battle animation. So the less you can attack an enemy and kill them, the faster the battle is going to be. So ideally, you want to kill an enemy as fast as possible in 1 hit. If you can't kill him in 1 hit, kill him in 2 hits. Okay, so the next trigger point I want to talk about is these dwarfs will not move until someone lands here or here. If someone moves here, the dwarfs aren't going to move. So we're going to move Tao to just right here, and that will trigger the first dwarf. If she were to move here, it should trigger both of the dwarfs. So we'll just start here. We're going to have Max kill off this goblin. So Max has gotten 2 goblin kills, but with pretty low HP. So he's probably less than 30 experience right now. A better runner than me is going to keep track exactly how much XP Max has every single time. So I'm going to look, and there's no harm in looking, 38 XP. So if I kill this dwarf by myself, I'll be at 86 HP or experience, which is perfectly fine. But I'm not going to. I'm going to kill it with Tao. So Max just did 8 damage, so that's 16 more experience. So right now, Max is at 38 plus 16 is 48, 54. So we'll probably give him a kill, but after Ken has prepped him. So we're going to prep this dwarf and then let Max kill it. So 8 HP plus 24 to kill is 16 and 24. So that's 40 experience. And 40 will put us at 94 experience, which is perfect. Oh, of course he leaves 1 HP. We're gonna let Max finish that off. Unfortunately, the rest of this strategy relies on Ken being in front, so we need to clear the way for him. We're gonna see a lot of red on the timer. Ugh, maths! I hate this already. Do something cool. Yeah, you're right. Alright, so we don't want to attack with Max for the rest of this battle and for the rest of the next battle. So now our goal is just to get across the bridge and into the town. Each battle has its own condition for victory. This becomes a little bit clearer in the Resurrection of the Dark Dragon version of this game, because it actually says, here are your conditions for victory. In this one, you just have to kind of figure it out. The first battle is a defeat the general battle. If you kill the Rune Knight, you win the battle. Even if you have left every single other enemy on the field at that time, if you kill the Rune Knight, you win. The conditions for this battle are defeat all the enemies or reach the town. So if you kill this bottom Rune Knight with a ranged character, like Ken, like Hans, or you could go in with Luke, attack it to weaken it, and then have Tao finish it from across the bridge. Once that Rune Knight has cleared the way, Max can run right into the town, and the battle's over. When am I going to talk about Arthur? We'll talk about Arthur as we pass him. One of the other things you'll notice about this game is that it's actually faster to not have all the units on the field. Having to take all your friendly character turns takes a lot of time. And you only have so much experience to distribute to every unit on the field. So you really want to funnel experience and levels into the characters that matter. And the characters that matter in this game are the mages, basically. Magic is so strong in this game. Mostly due to AoE, but also because their final spells do a ton of damage, and we rely so heavily on the massive amounts of damage in Chapter 8. And a bit of 6 and a bit of 7. So yeah, magic is super important. So our most valuable players in this game are Tao, Henri, and Domingo. Max we level up to a certain point because we want him to be beefy until after Chapter 2, and then we don't really care about him. Okay, progressing the story, you go talk to the king. We're going to stop at this treasure store because there are certain key items that are very useful. So we have the power potion, the defense potion, and a medical herb. Now, we're going to use the defense potion right away. We're hoping for a +2 on the defense. It feels like most of the time we get a +1. If you get a +1, the dwarves are going to be attacking Max for a lot of damage. 3. If you get a +2, they only do 1 damage. So this just determines how tanky is Max going to be in the next battle. We got a 2 because it's tutorial day, and of course we're going to get a 2. So because I got a 2, I pick up the antidote. The antidote we're going to need later. If I didn't get a +2 and I got a +1, I would go to the store and I would buy another medical herb for safety. I'm going to go ahead and make another save state, because this battle is the most reset battle in the run. I will talk about how to make sure that we can get through it, especially on a race day. You want to use safer strats. Yeah, because there are definitely some ways that the game can screw you up. So I'm going to do the safe strats here. They're not necessarily the fastest strats. All right, keep that in mind. Thank you for being happy. Why do the Heroes of Light randomly steal treasures from town? Because they're actually not very lightful at all. Alright, alright, this is a good one. Because the bats have gone already, and they've moved to this position, I'm going to move Max here. If the bats hadn't gone yet, I would move Max to the bridge. The reason is we want the bats to be in this position that they're in. And right now, I think they're aggro just off of the closest unit, which is going to be May. So they're coming down and they're going, yep, we're going here. If I put Max here, Max would be the highest priority, and we'd see this formation right here and right here, which is really annoying. We want it right here and here. So it's because the bats have gone and now it's Max's turn, we're going to stop right here. Now, we keep Ken here because it's just a little bit safer. Our goal is to get Tao to level 4 now. So May will die in 4 attacks. Ken is here for backup. So we're going to prep this first bat with Ken. That is fortunate. And then Tao is going to get that kill. And then May's going to come in and try to prep the other bat. Which she successfully does, because this is tutorial day, and everything always goes right in tutorial day. Alright, so what we want to see every turn, and at this point we should be seeing it pretty frequently. Let's check Max's speed. Max has got a speed of 6, which is 1 agility higher than the dwarves. So we want Max to be going before the dwarves every turn. It doesn't happen every time, but this is what we try for. Alright, so I didn't kill any of the bats with Tao because I need them to kill off May. We're not using May for the rest of the run. So we're trying to kill her off. So that's 2 attacks. On the next turn, I'll have Tao kill one of the bats. Now, I also, because the bats are all prepped, I'm going to pass the Bronze Lance to Ken, because Ken needs the Bronze Lance after this fight, so you might as well just give it to him now. Max fortunately outturned the dwarfs, so we're going to go right here. This will aggro the 2 dwarfs on the right. The first dwarf on the second to right will come straight down and attack Max from the left. The second dwarf on the right is going to come straight down and not be able to reach Max. May does join the force, but she's gotta die. So she should die from this other bat attack, which is happening now. And then our goal is to make sure that Tao stays safe. So we're gonna move Ken up into that spot to make sure that the bat will attack Ken instead of Tao. Stay. I'm going to go ahead and make a save state, because things could start going wrong here. Save states in the run are illegal. You can't do that in the run. Well, you can't go back to a save state. You can do in-game saves, and that's totally acceptable. All right, 2 spaces you can go. The faster space is right here. The safer space is right here. If you stay right here, you'll aggro these 2 dwarfs on the left. If you move here, only this bottom right dwarf will follow you. So we're going to do the save strats. Especially with 2 defense. Now, Tao should be the focus of this dwarf on the bottom left here. And so the dwarf will likely come down. Alright, Ken got put to sleep. It should be fine. Shouldn't matter. We're going to move Tao around. I guess because I just did that, the dwarf will probably go up to max. And that's level 4. 15 MP is about as bad as you can get at level 4. You really want 17 to 19. Sleep can last anywhere between 1 and 5 rounds. We got lucky there. Oh, that's great. So that dwarf outturned Max again, so he got another attack in, which is likely to mean that Max is going to leave him in the dust. So we're just going to continue up this tree line. Oh look, there he comes. I'm a sucker for extra experience, so I'm going to stay here and I'm going to lure that dwarf up to Tau. Ugh, we didn't get the outturn. What's up, Zophar? Doing a tutorial. If you have any questions that come up, please feel free to ask. We're doing a speed walk, so we're going to see a lot of red today. Alright, Rito, fire away. Fire away, fire away. Alright, we have to start keeping track of turn orders. I should have been mentioning that now that I'm in the spot that I'm in. But I think Max went super fast anyway, so we're just gonna keep going. Why do we not use Hans in 1-2 instead of Ken for the increased movement to try and save time? It is an option, and I've played with it. Hans does have better movement through, not through the mountainous area, but definitely through the wooded area. And he does 5 damage to the goblins. Okay, I need to explain counting here. When you see the bats go, you basically know that the new turn orders have started. So the bats have an agility of 9. So it's pretty much guaranteed that when you see the bats start to take their turn, a new round has started. What we want to get to is, and what we're trying to do here, and why we prepped so hard in 1-2 to get Max to 1 attack away from level up, is we want Max to run in, attack this Rune Knight, and level up. And when he levels up, his level 4 level up, he can gain anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 speed. Or 3 agility, I should say. I use the word agility and speed interchangeably. So when, right now his agility is 6. So if he gains 1, he's got an agility of 7. When he gains 2, it's 8. When he gains 3, it's 9. So if he gains 3, he's at the same agility as the bats, and he has a chance to outturn them. When he gains 7, or 1, he's at the same agility as the Rune Knight, and he has a chance to outturn them. What we want to do is save on Max's turn, and I'm going to pause it. We want to save on Max's turn before he goes into attack. Make sure we get a level that we like, because not only are we looking for a good agility that leads to outturn and we can run into the town, we want to see, in total, at least 19 attack. So I told you on the last level up for level 3, he's either going to gain 1, 2, or 3 attack. Well, if he gains 2 attack, like he did for us, then we want to see another 2 attack on this level in order for him to get to 19. It is also possible for him to gain 3 attack, which would put him at 20, which is amazing. Or it's possible for him to gain 1, which would put him at 18, which is pretty rubbish. So we save before Max goes in to attack for 2 reasons. 1, we want to see at least 2 attack. And 2, we want to make sure that he outturns all the Rune Knights and he can sneak into this town. This is why this level specifically we reset a ton on. Is because we're trying to force the game to do what we want, and it often doesn't play nicely. Okay, going back to the Hans question, Ryudo, you can definitely use Hans. Hans gains some speed. You're pretty much expecting Hans to go first every time, every round. He does 5 damage. Tau could technically kill the goblin with a 7 roll, but it's also possible that she only rolls 6, leaves goblins with 1 HP, in which she'd have to go run and bop them to kill them off. The end result, though, is that you still need to kill off Hans, because after 1-2, he's completely useless. Why I keep Ken is because I like having the added security of having Ken in 1-3 to protect from the bats, and because I want to funnel more levels into him because I want him to be a higher level going into the next battle and the battle after that. So that's why I choose Ken strats. Using Han strats is definitely a viable option. But if you're not using Ken, I would probably recommend using Luke. Alright. Now since this dwarf is dead, we're just going to move up to make the cursor movement a little bit less. That's 2 Rune Knights, 3 Rune Knights. What we're looking for is for Max to outurn as many of the Rune Knights as possible. I think he outturned 3 of them, and he outturned the ones that matter. So we make an in-game save, and we're going to reload that game now. And we're going to go in for the attack and see what type of level up he gets. So he got an attack plus 2, so he's at 19 attack. Speed by 2, so he's at 8 speed. He has a good chance of outturning and getting in on this. He just has to survive 2 Rune Knight attacks. So far, so good. Average, exactly. We're at average. Okay, actually he outturned 4 Rune Knights. So now the new turn orders have started because it's Tao's turn. So we'll see if Max gets in based on his 2 speed. The answer is no. He got blocked by a Rune Knight. So we're going to reset and we're going to reload that save. And we try again. So level up. He got 1 attack, which puts him at 18, which we cannot have at all. So that's an immediate reset. The goal is we want to get 23 attack by using 2 power potions after this battle. So if he was at 18 attack with 2 power potions getting plus 2, the best you could get is 22, which is playable, and often I do play that. Okay, in this case we got an attack plus 3, so now we're at 20, which is amazing, because that means we could go in and YOLO the power potions, and it's a high chance that we're just going to be at 23 attack. So that's above average attack, average speed. So let's see if we get in. So this is the new turn order. We have the bats going. We're hoping to see Max go. This Rune Knight's fine, because he's not blocking me. We just have to survive it. And we got blocked again. And this is why we reset so much on 1-3. I am kind of regretting going up against my PB splits. 2 and 2. So average, average. Let's see if we get in this time. New turn order. Bats will go. And you see, it's Max's turn. He went basically 3rd in that round, which is great. Would you say this is the biggest part of the game in terms of reset frequency? Absolutely. So the reset comes in, whoops. You want to go in, you want to say yes, and then you're on to the next split. So we got average attack, average speed. So what we're going to do, just for the sake of the tutorial and to help you guys be consistent, we're going to save for the power potions. Often I YOLO these and I take 22 attack. But we're going to get to 23. To progress the story, you need to talk to that merchant in the bar. Yeah, so the biggest reset point in this game comes around 25 minutes usually. And, well, if I'm passing into the 27-minute range for that split, I will reset. Now we're going to go ahead and move the antidote down to Tau. And then we're going to move this healing seed down to May. You push the cart into the girl, so she'll push you into the water, which ends up putting you right next to this chest. which in this chest is a power potion. So now we have 2 power potions and we have 19 attack. And our goal is to get to, like I said, 23 attack. So since we talked to that merchant in the bar, we can head straight into the castle. In the left here, there are 2 items we want to grab. The first one is the Bread of Life, which I use right away on max. Two HP. And then we grab the defense potion, which we will pass down to May. We're going to take May's healing seed and pass it to Max for the defense potion, because we want that healing seed on Max. And now we'll talk to the king to progress the story. Follow the king downstairs where he has betrayed us, and oh no, it's Cain. Apparently there's some really good story that I don't really know. Something to do, I think, with Cain being... Spoiler! Never mind. I'm not going to give spoilers. You get thrown in prison, immediately search the bars, which will trigger Chris to come in. Talk to Chris, have her join, sing a song. Chris has joined the force, but she's gonna die. Gotta sing the song every time. She opens the secret passage. It's here that we're going to save. Save. Yes. 2 ways you could do this. You could listen through this the music, but really as soon as you press save, the game is saved and you could reset it and reload the game. I tend to stay in chat and I say, yes, I'm going to continue. No, I don't need anything else. And then we're going to use these 2 power potions and we're going to try to manipulate getting +2 on both of them. So +1, reset. I just made a save, so I know where I'm loading the game into is right into that jail cell with this priest. Two. So now we save again. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about RNG and RNG manipulation. As far as we can tell, so in Shining Force 2, we figured out which memory slot held the RNG basically modifier. And so we could get to a place of predictability with Shining Force 2 of like, if the memory slot here says this value, then I know when I use a power potion, I'm going to get +4. As far as we can tell in Shining Force 1, that memory slot is constantly changing in the game, and there's no way to manipulate it. Funny looking yeah, you're right. So basically, RNG manipulation in this game, we have not figured out. I don't think there is a way to figure it out. Challenge out to the community, figure out RNG manipulation. So our way of manipulating is just saving and resetting until we get what we want. What I do know is that the more time that you spend in game, that RNG counter is constantly going. And every time you do a movement, menu interaction, it is changing the RNG, let's call it RNG timer or RNG modifier. So if you get a +1, you hard reset or soft reset the game, if you do a hard reset and you load back into the game, it's going to be the same RNG value that you had before. But if you do a soft reset, it should keep the RNG still rolling in the background. So when you load back into the game, you should be at a completely fresh spot, and you can attempt to use the power potion again. So I just saved. I'm going to resume, and I'm going to start using the power potion again. Got another +2. So now we're at 23 attack. We're good to go to the next battle. Whew, so much talking. Any questions coming up? Are people tracking? Is this good? I'm getting sweaty too. Need a fan. Can you start from the beginning again? No, sorry, Bird. I cannot. Thank you, Xenon. Okay, conditions for victory in this battle are kill every enemy. So there's a couple of points that are trigger points for the mobs, and I'm going to point them out when we get there. Is there stats for power potions? Is it 50-50? Yes. So Shining Force 1, all potions, all stat potions are either 1 or 2 plus to that stat. So Bread of Life, Quick Chicken, Power Potion, Defense Potion. You can either get +1 or +2. As far as we can tell, it's 50-50 of getting either of those. I believe Shining Force 2, it's 2 to 4 you can get. But this isn't Shining Force 2, so it doesn't matter. Our goal in this battle is get Tau to level 5, get Max to level 6, make sure Ken stays alive, and kill off Chris. Alright. Max's spot is right here. This spot will trigger the aggro of the 2 bats on this side of the battle. And this line is like a diagonal line right here. So that if I were to move 1 more to the right, it would trigger one of the Rune Knights to come down. If I were to move 2 to the right, it would trigger both Rune Knights to go down. I'm not ready to trigger the Rune Knight, so we're just going to move right next to Ken, or to Max, kitty corner right. So Tau does not have a ton of MP in this. It's really nice to have a Blaze 2 for the bat section, and 2 Blaze 2s for the mobs across the river. I don't think we're gonna have that luck. Okay, so the one thing that really sucks about bats is they have a chance to put you to sleep. So you want to get rid of the bats as soon as you can. Unless there's Rune Knights, because the Rune Knights can kill you really fast. So, we've pulled 1 Rune Knight. We're going to move around and we're going to attack this left bat and hopefully kill it in 1 hit, which we should be able to now that we have 23 attack. The bats also have a high chance to dodge, so there's that. We're going to equip the Bronze Lance and we're going to try to finish off this bat right here. And a miss. You find Tau can vary MP wise from 14 to 20 for this fight, depending on the level exactly. And that's one of the things about the level ups is they're not entirely consistent. The first couple are for max, but at this point in time, level 4, I've had Taus with 20 MP and I've had Taus with 14 MP. So sometimes it's just luck of the draw. Now what's cool about what just happened here is we created a formation. I'm going to take advantage of this every time, even though it'll bring me down to 8 MP. Exactly, Tech. That's the difference between 4 Blaze 2s or 2 Blaze 2s. Now, I'm also, because Max outturned this Rune Knight, I'm going to attack this Rune Knight. He should be able to kill the Rune Knight in 1 hit. There is a potential with 23 attack to leave 1 HP. It kind of stinks when that happens. We're going to equip the spear back again because we want the bat to aggro up. But it doesn't matter because Ken hit it because he's a champ. Now the second Rune Knight's going to come down. And what's fun about this is we're going to put Chris right in that spot in front of him. So if the Rune Knight outturns Max, Max isn't going to get attacked again. And we want Chris to die in this fight anyways. So just stay right there. If the Rune Knight outturns, so be it. If the bat outturns, so be that. Can't reach anything, so I'm not going to do anything. Now we're going to come around, and we're going to take care of this Rune Knight, hopefully. Perfect. This fight's going great so far. Yep, that's the goal. If I don't get it done today, we'll definitely continue it on. Ken being a champ, it's fantastic. Now, I would like to save MP on Tao for across the river, and I'll explain what we want to do. Like, ideally, we're hoping to see Tao have 2 Blaze 2s left for the right side of this river. These enemies stay in the exact same spot that they're in. They don't move. That Dark Mage is dangerous though because it'll cast Blaze 2 back at you. So we got a fun little exercise that we're gonna do, which is basically watch the turn orders. Tao went first. Oh no, she went last because that was a dwarf after her. We're gonna kill off Chris, so we just put her right in front of the Rune Knight. And that happens, sometimes you leave 1 HP. Finish it off with Ken. Now our hope is that the Dark Mage will go first, and then Tao after it. So that way, we can get the Blaze in first, she'll level up, probably gain some speed, and then go before the Mage on the next turn. So Dark Mage went, we're bringing Tao in. We're gonna Blaze 2 this whole group. Likely she'll get to level 5, gain some speed, and then she can... Oh, or she'll crit the Dark Mage, that's fine too. Defense 1, speed by 1. And now she has 20 MP. And that's the RNG of the game, exactly. We're gonna kill one of these snipers with Ken, and the other one with Tao's remaining Blaze 1. The game changes so much on you, just based on the RNG of crits or doubles or misses, whatever. It can be frustrating, it can also be really rewarding. That's probably why we continue to play. And now the remaining enemies, the Dark Dwarfs, will all die to Max in 1 hit. So we're just going to send Max over the bridge. We're going to keep Tao and Ken here for cursor movement to limit the cursor movement. And Max should be able to one-shot everything. He should get to level 6 from all this. I don't think he's gained his missing speed yet. I will read this out loud because it's good. Okay, so he just gained 2 speed, so now he's at 10 agility. We may be at the whims of RNG, but at least every run is unique and has you put real thinking into every decision, even if there's a couple of inevitable points. Exactly. I think RNG makes the game unique, and one of the reasons why we like coming back to it, even though it's also one of the most frustrating things about this run. Okay, so that's Chapter 1, all the battles. Now to finish the story, you just have to run up, talk to the king, forgive him, because that's how forgiveness works, friends. It's that easy. Just ask for it, and you shall receive. Yes, I forgive. And then pull the dragon, or pull the chain in the dragon head. I pick up this healing seed. And then through the door to the next chapter. Hold, please. This is where I do my chapter breaks, is at this menu. As soon as I say yes, I split and I consider that chapter 1. I will be right back.